Good evening. Welcome to the new party. I'm Nora Christine.
I'm about to give a really unpopular opinion, and I'm sure it's going to be especially unpopular amongst women.
I'm Gray Mars. Break a record by being with 100 men in one day. And right after she was done, she recorded a documentary.
I'm a vegan weed. Call yourself fresh and wear the same weak ass turtleneck on every show. God damn. Then we got goddamn the Sudanese Sambo. Bruh, man.
And I'm Enzo. Bringing up in my lives is they're like, oh well, he's violating the Constitution by having a meme coin and him making money off it in office and everything like that. I was like, if that was the case, like there would be lawsuits up the ass and impeachment in court.
I'm skeptic. Like I always say, don't let anybody trample on your constitutional rights.
I'm Mia. That's not a correct power dynamic in my mind. Typically, the people that are trying to be removed are not in control. That's why they're easily being removed.
Yo, that was fire.
Yeah.
I like that, though. I like that.
The person that's dealt with some people in the industry, I can personally tell you, most of them are bullshit. Most of them got something going on and they crazy, and they will have you. I'm talking about they'll have you crazy.
Yeah, it's like professional, bro. We look real professional. Case, like Slim said, it's the beginning, man. We're gonna see more. It's gonna unfold, and
that mean I'm doing my job.
Hey. If we sit there and be old school, we gonna miss the boat. You know, a lot of this kids 19 years old buying houses with Bitcoin, buying Maserati.
Wow.
Disclaimer. The views and opinions expressed on this panel show are those of the individual speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of this channel, its affiliates, sponsors, or production team. This content is intended for informational and entertainment purposes only. Viewer discretion is advised. We encourage respectful dialogue and critical thinking around the topics discussed.
it's gonna come out how it come out. You feel me? Yo, none of this is rehearsed. Everything is off the top.
Vulgar. Welcome to the man cave.
Yo, what's good on this good hump day? We back at the man cave. Man, we got a full house tonight. It's looking like the No Kings parade. Digital version. All right. So I always have to say, y'all see the main event. We gonna get to that. But first, we got some Negro stuff we need to touch on tonight, and we gonna get to that. Hey, y'all seen the disclaimer. So I don't represent the views of the new party because I say crazy shit. All right, anyway, I'm Vulgar.
I'm Gray Mars.
King J.
And we got some guests in the house tonight. Go ahead and introduce yourselves one by one and tell us a little bit about yourself.
I guess I'll go first. I'm Jamie Amacalster. I would say I'm a political TikToker, and I'm a Christian pro-lifer.
Okay, which way you lean?
Republican.
Okay. All right. I can't. How you say it? Is it Alma?
Alma, yes.
All right.
Alma. So I'm Alma Pari on TikTok and Instagram, Willful Positivity. I am a commentator, I'm a writer, an author, and a podcast host. My podcast is Restitch America, and I definitely lean right, definitely on the MAGA train. So,
all right. Dang, Graywood, I do deserve this, man.
What, a bunch of MAGA people?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. All right, we had Never Woke, but I think he dropped out.
Some roll his mic. I'm texting him now.
Okay. And the infamous King J. What's good with you, man?
I'm doing good, brother. I'm doing good. It's always a good day.
Oh, yeah. All right, I'm going to run with our first video. Hey, they got your boy. Tyler Perry. He's part of the He too. All right, let's go.
Giant Tyler Perry has been accused of sexual assault in a $260 million lawsuit. Perry is being sued by actor Daryl Dixon, accusing him of creating a coercive, sexually exploitive dynamic while he was acting on the filmmaker's shows, The Oval and Ruthless. He alleges Perry promised him a successful acting career and then subjected him to escalating sexual harassment, assault, and professional retaliation when he didn't reciprocate his unwanted advances. Perry's lawyer has denied the allegations, calling the lawsuit a scam to make money.
All right. So I seen you was covering this earlier, Gray. So I'll let you fill us in, give us your opinion.
What was that again? My bad. I looked away. It was about
it was Tyler Perry.
Oh, Tyler Perry. Oh, yeah. Tyler Perry. So basically, the guy was got a role after Tyler Perry assaulted him, and the text message came out. So he's sending he's suing him. So basically, all the text messages are out that him and Tyler Perry had. So I mean, it's looking like he was assaulted, but Tyler Perry gave him roles in the movie because he assaulted him.
All right. So what you leaning towards?
I don't know. I mean, like, if we go say, like, you know, with the women, oh, it's a Me Too, it's a money grab. I feel like we gotta look at it with him too. Like, is this a money grab, or was he really assaulted, or was it consensual? So I'll let it play out in the court.
You know me, I'm a victim blamer. I'm automatically say it's frivolous until proven otherwise. Is that Jamie on?
Yeah.
All right. What's your opinion on it? You're a little low too.
Yeah.
Like the volume?
Yep.
All
right. Alma, would you like to go?
Well, I guess. So this is breaking news. So this is not something I have investigated very deeply, but all I can say is a lot of times when these cases come out, you know, we get a lot of people riled up and excited and, you know, thinking about, you know, the worst things possible, and then they fizzle out sometimes. And so I like to hold off any kind of judgment until we have actual concrete evidence. And so in this particular case, what I would look for is this civil? Is this criminal? How long ago did it happen? Why weren't, you know, these allegations brought up criminally? Why is it tied to a $200 million lawsuit? And so on and so forth. So all those things get my kind of spidey senses tingling a little bit. And so I have absolutely no information either way. And in a case like this, I'm just going to wait to see how it all shakes out.
Cool. King J.
I think everybody pretty much said how I feel about it. I'm not too big on bashing a black man until I know what's going on. You know, we've seen a lot of these cases where sometimes it's true, sometimes it's not. So before I talk about it, I'd rather see and let the facts come out first.
Yeah, I can agree with that. Like I said, you know, if it's not criminal, I just automatically assume it's a money grab until otherwise. But it's just crazy to have men coming out with something like this. I think this is like the first one, isn't it? Like public that's this big.
Yeah. What you mean, like this case?
Yeah. As far as it being a male on male.
It's the first one I heard about where it was a celebrity for sure. But Jamie, you want to go? Is your mic good?
Sure. No, I want to say this is the first one. What's his name? What's his name? I can't think of the dude's name. The big strong dude off of Everybody
Terry
Hates
Crews.
Chris, played the father.
Yeah. He had that. You're right.
But he didn't sue though, did he? I know he made claims.
I don't know if he did, but I know it was pretty big.
You said he did testify?
he testified in Congress about it. He talked
Okay.
about the fact that, when men are victims, they don't get a lot of attention because they're
Yeah.
men. And so, but yeah, he talked about it in Congress, and I know he's spoken publicly about it as well.
Yeah. All right. Do we get Jamie on?
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
So what I think about this is, yeah, I don't want to say too much, but I do have my suspicions because from the other person, the person who's suing Tyler Perry, he's gay, right?
They
I'm
don't
not
know
sure.
yet. They don't know his sexuality yet.
I don't know, but he looks a little suspicious to me from that little. I'm not a homophobic person. I just say that. It could be. I think it is a money grab. Allegedly, it's a money grab. But I don't want to say too much because But I know Candace Owens. She's going to do a lot on this. She's gonna pull on this. So, yeah, I don't want to say too much, but I think it's just a money grab, basically. Yeah. It's Hollywood, Georgia, at least.
How do we get here? We're just an industry now of, I think it's always been like that. You got to protect your assets, and once you become powerful,
I would say it's less greedy.
yeah, yep, everybody's trying to get you. That's why when you get money, you got to move out the hood.
I think, though, that one important thread in these kinds of allegations and these kinds of things is the question that always comes to my mind is, why do people put themselves, in many cases, I don't know about this particular case, but why do people put themselves in a place where you can be accused of such a thing, right? Of course, people can come out and completely fabricate stuff against you. However, in many of these cases, you end up with the idea of it was consensual, it was this or that. But my thought is, what are people's moral standards? Like, how are people living their lives such that you're putting yourself in situations like this that could be compromising? So, for instance, just to kind of give you a case in point, I was just talking to my wife and say, hey, I'm going to Tampa, for, Turning Point's event, and I'm going to be rooming with somebody. And my wife was like, why are you concerned about that? And I was like, well, I don't know, because I don't want to be in a situation where I am vulnerable to someone saying something about me where it becomes a he said, she said, or he said, right? And so I think as a public figure, you have to strive to put yourself in positions where people can't, put you in that kind of box. And it surprises me that a lot of them don't do that.
Well, the thing is, it's part of the industry. It's like part of the culture. If you've been in this industry, which I have, it is very common. Like sexuality and sexual stuff is rampant. If you're in the industry, you got alcohol, all kind of other stuff that's involved. It's not a lot of morality. The only morality is getting your money, and then doing whatever. And that's why they call it Hollywood. And it's not just Hollywood anymore. It's pretty much all the major cities, Miami, Atlanta, any city that has like an entertainment hub. This is what goes down.
I think everyone is led by like lust and greed. This world is a sinful place. And I know like in Hollywood or Georgia, if you see in Atlanta, Georgia, they have all those trans people there. And it's just like this, it's just lust is everywhere. And it's just insane, especially, with the Diddy case. And every time I turn around, somebody's getting sued or somebody's being brought up in court about lust, like Donald Trump, that lady in that case. I mean, if you look at that case, Donald Trump. I don't want to say that because I don't want that lady to try and sue me. It's like obvious, did Donald Trump really do that? Do I honestly believe so? No, but legally, yes, he kind of did do it. But yeah.
Yeah, my honest take is they need to stop all these suits. They need to just not allow people to do it. If you put yourself in that situation, you grown, you didn't do stuff to avoid it. Like there are certain laws where if you did, or like before self-defense, you have to try to get away before, acting on. I think they should have something like that with this type of stuff.
Yeah.
You go to the party? Did you drink? Did you know? And to me, most of these people who are getting these accusations, they have a reputation. I heard about stuff about a bunch of them before it even hit the news. That's how bad it is. These people know what I'm telling you, a lot of these women and these dudes, they know what they're getting into when they go there. And on that note, I have a video I want to play. This was a clip from Boondocks from like almost 20 years ago. I don't know if y'all seen this or not.
Seen that episode.
But it's scary. I'm gonna play it right quick.
Mardukes finds herself a man as a movie. And guess who's my leading man? Really? I'm gonna be in a movie? Oh. That's right, Bob. And I only have one request. Look, man, all bullshit aside, can I please just have some ass?
Okay. Wait a minute. You mean to tell me you made up this whole cross-dressing Christian cult crap just so you can sleep with men?
Pretty much, yeah.
Fuck you. Now stick that up your ass. No homo.
Basically Hollywood.
It's scary. I'm sorry, it's scary.
Yeah, Tyler Perry. My bad. Tyler Perry actually sued for that because I guess somebody was leaking stuff to the press or to the creator of Boondocks about what goes on. So yeah, there was more stuff in there. But my bad. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was somebody to respond. Go ahead.
I don't think that to what Vogel was saying earlier, I think there definitely needs to be a revamp in the laws, but I think there should still be some type of guidelines because you got to protect people from predators. Sometimes folks don't know what they're getting into, and I honestly believe that. I mean, you got kids that go through the industry, they don't know what they're getting into. Their guardians are only just looking for money. So I think there are definitely you to a certain degree, yeah, you were right. Like, you know what you're getting into, but we definitely need to protect the folks that don't know what they're getting into, and then the ones that get scared to speak up about what's going on because they didn't got set up in all different types of traps. So you got to set something up for the people that just don't know.
Okay, let me update that too. I think it should be criminal first.
Yes.
I think there should, before you could do anything civil, I think there needs to be these type of accusations need to be criminal so we can go through forensics, everything beyond a reasonable doubt. Like just taking somebody through the court and suing them for money. To me, that's all. The judges and the lawyers are loving it. The system, they incentivize. They want that. They want these people to make, even if it's false, everybody eats. So that's pretty much what I'm saying is I think the first step should be criminal. If you didn't go to the police, if you didn't get a grape kit, if you didn't get evidence of these type things, hey, only person that knows is God.
I can agree with that.
And then that'll cut down on a lot of stuff. If there's consequences or there's not certain ways out, people are gonna be like, you know what, I'm not about to risk that because there's no incentive on the other end. I'm not going to Diddy house. I'm not going to Tyler Perry house. I'm gonna chill because I don't want that, and I'm not gonna get anything in return. But a lot of times when people think they can get something in return, they weigh the options. Do I take the grape or the assault and get my payday or not? And a lot of people they're willing to take that transaction.
Jamie, what were you saying?
Oh, I was saying I agree with him because it's harder to persecute someone, I guess, in a criminal case or a civil case. You can, and then for like people who bring up rape charges against someone else, they should be going to jail if that turns out they were lying the whole entire time. That happens so much. It's kind of insane when victims say someone raped them and then turns out they didn't. They just wanted the money, so they just go straight for the civil case instead of the criminal case.
I would definitely say this is a delicate topic because me personally, the way I feel about it, like I said, I agree with to a certain aspect. When we open it up to like criminal wise and getting forensic, when people have really been traumatized like that, they don't want to be touched anymore. They don't want to be. So what do you do for those folks they've been so traumatized, they just don't want to open themselves up to like forensic kits and stuff like that?
Well, I mean,
there's no perfect answer. But I just think this is something that's serious enough to where it shouldn't just be financial. It should be, let's get to the bottom of it. That's what I'm saying. because you allow a lot of fraudsters and grifters to come in on this type of stuff. So to me, I feel like if it's criminal, it's going to push a lot of that away, and then we can really get to the bottom of it. Because a lot of times, you know what the game is, and the lawyers know this too. When you got people like Tyler Perry or Diddy or whoever, it's just cheaper to pay. 10 million and 20 million versus your freedom or paying a lot more. It's better just to pay them to go away. So that's kind of the game. That's one of the tactics. Like, hey, just make the allegation. You know what? You gonna get something because they ain't got time. Sports players, people like that. When you got millions or billions, you don't have time for little shit like this. So it's just easier to pay people off and keep it moving. That's why I'm saying a lot of that whole money thing needs to stop.
I don't think that you went. What's your thoughts?
So my thought on this is, I like to focus on how we get to this point. Like, is there anybody in the world today who is teaching people basic common sense and basic morality? It's almost like we've given up on moral values. We're saying, hey, it's going to happen. This is the industry. And so all we're looking at is we're looking at the medication to solve the illness rather than looking at the prevention. So if I am a voice, I would say my voice would be, how can we teach our young people to value morality, to value their bodies, to value, what it means to make certain decisions to protect yourself and not just open yourself up sexually to any Tom, Dick, and Harry for whatever purpose, And I grew up in a Christian home, and so, I grew up with the idea that I'm going to wait until I'm married. I got married at 22. I've only been with one person my entire existence. And unfortunately, it seems like that is the minority view. It's almost like we've given up the moral ground and we've said, hey, it's just going to happen. Immorality is going to happen. And so we don't even need to talk about it. I don't even know that the churches are focusing on it as much anymore. And so if I am going to lend my voice to this whole issue, I'm going to say, all I can say is the advice I'll give to my kids, keep yourself, love yourself. Your body is a temple, and don't put yourself in a situation that will compromise your morality, that will compromise your integrity, that will put you in a situation where you have to defend yourself from accusations because people, you have allowed yourself to be in a situation that is compromising, and eventually is going to bring you down. A lot of great people in the world, throughout world history, have been brought down because of sexual immorality. And I don't see why we don't warn people before they get into that world.
All right, I'm gonna go to the next subject, but to answer your question, fathers, the fathers out the home. We need the fathers back in the home, and we need strong fathers in the home. Not just 80% of men are weak. You only got like the 10 to 20% who come out to be actual leaders. Those 10 to 20% need to be back in the spotlight, need to be back in the lead, but we call a lot of them misogynistic. All right, I'm gonna go to the next subject. Speaking of Tyler Perry, we got up next R. Kelly.
Lord Jesus.
R. Kelly are working to get him out of prison this morning after alleging that the guards are trying to kill him. Court papers say that R. Kelly was rushed to the hospital last week after an overdose of medication given to him by the prison staff. The R&B star, as you know, is serving a 50-year term for 2 convictions on sex trafficking and racketeering charges.
Kelly's attorneys first announced an alleged plot to kill him in prison last week. He has been in prison since 2022. Prosecutors say the allegations have no merit, but his lawyers say recent developments prove their claims.
R. Kelly's attorneys say there is no doubt that prison officials want him dead. According to the new court motion, R. Kelly was in solitary confinement against his will and provided with his usual anxiety and sleep medication on June 12th. The next morning, he allegedly lost consciousness and was taken by ambulance to a nearby hospital. The filing claims Kelly had been administered an overdose quantity of his medications that threatened his life and required hospitalization for 2 days. Kelly's attorneys say the alleged drugging was in response to their previous claims of the deadly conspiracy by prison officials. The filing also states the hospital found blood clots in Mr. Kelly's legs and lungs that would require surgery and an extended stay in the hospital with blood thinners. But his lawyers allege officers with guns came into his hospital room and removed Mr. Kelly. He was taken from the hospital against his will and against the directives of the doctors. They added he could die from this condition, and they are letting it happen. The embattled singer was convicted of sex trafficking and racketeering in New York and Chicago in 2021 and 2022. But before his convictions, he spoke to Gayle King in 2019, adamantly denying the allegations against him.
Believe me, man, this is not me. They lying on me. They're lying on me. I'm cool, bro. I'm cool. I'm good. I'm not afraid because I'm telling the truth.
Despite the newest allegations, federal prosecutors have pushed back on the singer's previous claims that his life is in danger, calling them, quote, repugnant and theatrical, and adding they make a mockery of the harm suffered by Kelly's victims.
The Bureau of Prisons told us for privacy, safety, and security reasons, it does not discuss the conditions of confinement for any incarcerated individual, including medical and health-related issues. The Bureau also said it does not comment on pending litigation. Kelly's lawyers want him placed in home detention, and they are pleading with President Trump for a full pardon.
Everybody running to Trump for a pardon.
Yeah, they knew you could just buy them now.
Yeah.
I mean, basically.
All right, who
$5
want
million
to go?
to get you out.
Huh?
I said $5 million to get you out.
Go ahead. What's your opinion on it? Or why you think they will be trying to take them out?
I really don't have no idea on why they would take Kelly out. I mean, if we talk about just prison culture overall, I mean, I didn't think he was going to last that long anyway. I wouldn't know. But yeah, I definitely wouldn't know.
Alma?
Yeah, the only thought that comes to my mind as I listen to this is we have seen people, die in custody when they were being watched by federal authorities. And so that's a concern to me that, we sometimes get these situations where people who are supposed to be protected in federal custody end up dead, among mysterious circumstances. And so, yes, he's been convicted. However, it is also important that the state holds up its end of the bargain, which is that if you are in their custody, they're supposed to protect you to make sure that, you don't get medications that end up trying to kill you. And the only question I'll have, though, is if you know the kind of medications you're taking and they give you a double dose, wouldn't you notice? So I have a little bit of a question there, that I understand, what I put into my body. And so unless they did some switcheroo and slipped in pills that look exactly like what he had before, and there is an actual conspiracy to do that, I don't know that there's evidence of that. His lawyers are making a lot of claims, but this is one of those things I would say the federal government has a responsibility to make sure that people who are incarcerated are protected. We may not like this particular individual, but sometimes people are in custody for unjust reasons. And we hope that if that ever happens, that they are protected. And so that's what I would wish for anybody in that kind of situation, irrespective of how they got there.
Yeah. Gray? I know you're a conspiracy theorist.
That's what I was gonna say. It's like immediately, it's the conspiracy theories. I don't know if R. Kelly used that because he knows how people are these days, or if it's really true. So I mean, it just is going to be more fuel to the fire of government conspiracy. So we'll see what happens. I mean, why would they do this to R. Kelly now when he has such a long sentence? I don't know.
Jamie on?
I personally, I try and feel pity for sex traffickers, but I just don't have any pity for sex traffickers. But I do think it's a little scheme just so he can. I don't know. He may be tired of being jailed, so he slipped a little more. But yeah, I really don't have any pity for him. But yeah, I just think he just wanted to get out of jail and probably wanted some more attention upon his case. Maybe he could be telling the truth. Maybe he did not commit those crimes. But I just think he's just trying to get some attention. Maybe because he wants a full pardon from Donald Trump. Well, most likely because he wants a full pardon from Donald Trump. I just think he wants more attention, basically.
Yeah,
for sure.
But I don't. Can you even do that in prison? I guess you could sneak some medicine in, but
I don't know. Maybe if you're rich.
But I know they're very vigilant on medicine in prison.
It could also be that you don't take the ones that you're given and you kind of hoard it until you have enough.
Yeah.
Take it all at once. And so that's a possibility. Of course, there's no evidence of that. But I mean, people do crazy things.
It's a whole underground industry in the prison system. Like a little gram of weed, like this is like $80 in prison. So like it's a whole situation that a lot of people go in there and get addicted because it's nothing to do. You're just sitting around. But before you go to the next topic, Volker, if you're watching, subscribe and hit that notification bell.
All right, I got the last topic for the Negro segment on Negro News, and then we can go into the main event. I definitely want to get your opinion on this, especially you. Is it Alma or Alma? I want to make sure I'm saying it right. Alma. All right. Next up, we have K. Michelle blaming men she don't date. Let's run it.
That a successful black man that has the ability to literally turn the narrative on black family, you know? And my grandfather, I watched my uncles and everything. My whole family, they're married. I'm not the girl who didn't see what a man creating a black family is supposed to be. So I'm asking right now, black men, and I tell my black men to really step up for black women and create families.
Yeah.
It's really not cool. Black men are attacking black women. And it's not a cool, they're not creating homes. We're witnessing city girls, we're witnessing this and that. And it's like the genders are doing this.
Clashing.
It is really destroying families. Being a country singer, if you are a singer in country music, you're a man. If you are not married, it is not respected. Family is respected in country music in that space. But in our space, we are singing about side chicks. We are glorifying a lot of women. That's not what happens in Nashville. You can't call a woman a bitch in Nashville because they'll never even listen to your music and your professional career will suffer. At what point in the black community do our men create real homes?
Man, you got this chick up here with petroleum bags with fake nipples on her skirt trying to call out black men. Get your shit together first. And all that crying shit, y'all gotta stop falling for that crying shit. But who wanna go?
I guess I'll go.
Go ahead.
I just, yeah, like you said earlier, because I like to call this thing called hoflation. I think it's like black men and black women are causing this problem. We see the lack of black men in their household, and we see a huge problem in our young girls. They're dressing like hoes, and when I go to school, when I walk up the stairs, why am I seeing butt cheeks and 8 a.m. in the morning? It's causing. It's just hoflation, basically. And I think we need to stop this hoflation. And that's why you see women who dress more conservative, like she brought up the women in Nashville, Tennessee. Those women are dressed. you barely see them naked. Like Carrie Underwood, she's married with a family, and she was recently under some controversy. Nobody calls her a hoe, mainly because she's not. That's not her image. She's not a hoe. This woman, what was her name again?
K. Michelle.
She has this huge butt. It's taking up the couch. These huge breasts, and I can see them. They're very visual. But yeah,
Now
I
she
think,
got a refund on her ass. She took her ass back, I think.
yeah, but that is huge, and she should probably cover up a little bit more.
Yeah, I don't know what it look like now, but didn't she take her ass back?
I think she probably did, but yeah, she was on Love and Hip Hop, and then she actually dated Lil Wayne baby mama husband before she was with her, or he was with her. So like, and she had like 2 or 3 hit songs, but yeah, that's who she is.
And I would also like to add, I think it's a reason why we have this is a lack of religion. We have people, a lot of in the Black community, a lot of people like to preach the prosperity gospel also, and that's the factor that plays into this. But in the Black church, we're not really going based off the Bible. We're not. It's like when I go to like a lot of Southern churches down here. I live in South Carolina. A lot of women are dressing like hoes as well, and women are supposed to dress modestly. Men and women are supposed to dress modestly. And there's a lot of lukewarm Christians out there now. So, I'm a Christian, I'm a full-blown Christian, but I'm going to go abort this baby the next day, or I'm going to go to the club the night before. So, yeah, I think it's the lack of religion, the lack of Christ that's also dividing us in the Black community as well.
Yeah, I say that too. A lot of people don't respect God anymore. They don't take him serious. He forgiving too much. That's what's going on. You gotta stop forgiving so much. Maybe they'll get it together. Start sending some lightning bolts and asteroids and stuff. Maybe you get it together. I don't know. Iran might do that. Go, King J.
I wouldn't. So I'm gonna put my personal opinion. What is going on with the Black household? The government, the way the Black community has been brought up. I mean, when we talk particularly about African Americans, we have to address the issues that we've had since the beginning of them bringing us here into this country. And so far as the music does play a role in the way our young women and our women behave, but you have to look at who's controlling that music. The artist, yes, makes the music, but who is actually controlling the music? Who's actually selling it? Who's actually profiting off of it? Because profit, wherever you can find the money at, that's what that you follow where the money leads to. So far as that, church, we're all not, well, I can say this, all of us are not Christians, so I do not force my views on people. I think it's really the lack of like good communication between the Black man and the Black woman. And then I've also seen this thing where women, because Black women are the most educated population in this nation. That is a fact. They have the most degrees out of all other demographics. I think that plays an issue too when we talk about Black women and Black men, because now you're seeing women out earn men. And I think a lot of men from traditional values that have traditional values don't like seeing that. So I think that brings a lot of problems into the household too, because me as a man, how can I accept my woman going out and making 30 times what I'm making, but you don't have any degrees, so of course she's going to make more money than you. So I think that plays a pivotal part in that as well.
I mean, yeah, I have to go against that. If you a man's man, a degree is just a certificate from the government in a sense. It's from an indoctrinated institution. As a man, and I'm trying to tell more men this, just because your woman make more than you don't mean shit. Like my wife has a bigger degree than I do. I didn't finish school. You know what I'm saying? Like I just have an associate's. So, but the thing is, I'm good with money. I'm good at holding it. I don't need as much money to live as some of these women do, right? Like I have a lot of investments. My wife didn't even know. She's like, you know what? I be trying to show her just so I can keep her in the loop on our finances. She's like, I don't want to see it. Like she has the attention span of an ant. When I try to go in Charles Schwab, she's like, I don't want to see it. She's like, that's up to you for you to handle it. So we gotta stop saying just because women make more don't mean shit. If we get our shit together as men, we still can run our house. To me, I'm a man first. So no woman, I don't care if it's Rihanna. Rihanna's never gonna come tell me anything to do, even though she got billions. Because I'm a man first. We have to do that. We have to start taking our power back and understanding that we're men. We're at the top of the food chain on this planet. And no matter how much money is there, if shit hits the fan, women are going to look to you for that protection. As a matter of fact, a woman don't even want you if she feel like you can't protect her. So y'all got to get out of this whole, if they got the degrees, they making the money, they run shit. No, that don't mean shit. You still a man. And we got to
also, when we talk about these issues as well, I think it's very important that her counterpart has some type of education, because women are intellectual creatures. I don't like using that word, but they are intellectual creatures. For you to actually this is my perspective.
They're social creatures.
For you to actually satisfy, you have to somewhat intellectually stimulate her as well.
No,
that's just my.
No, you don't. They're social creatures. If you give them what they need and protect them, they can go to their friends and get that. Like, you can give them some of it, but you shouldn't be giving them everything. Like, they need their own space. You know what I'm saying? So you don't have to say they're intellectual. No, as a man, if you're responsible, like, we thinking that's like a whole left, right? Because I get that when I have debates with liberals. They're like, y'all not educated, MAGA, y'all dumb, y'all don't have. No, I'm a mechanic. I'm not the most talkative person if you haven't seen on here. I'm getting better with my speech. But if it comes to building a house, a car, electronics, reading sheets, building a spreadsheet with numbers, I'm good all day. So you don't have to be that intellectual if you know how to take care of your woman and listen. Sometimes you can just listen.
If y'all haven't figured it out, Vogler's red pill. But my take on it with K Michelle is gonna be with the music. Like, as far as the music, people don't want to hear anything hunky dory. Like, my life is a regular hunky dory life. If I go listen to a song, I kind of want to listen to stuff that I can't do. So, is it bad? Absolutely. But I think it's an escape for people when they listen to like certain music. But Alma, I know you didn't get to go. What's your take on this?
So I come to this from a very different perspective because I am an immigrant, and so I come from a different background. And since I've been in America the last 20 years, I've lived in a predominantly white community. And so I am not connected to Black culture. I'm not connected to, African American culture and so on. However, the parallel that I would like to draw is the parallel of where I come from. Where I come from, people don't have a lot in terms of material possessions. Many people are struggling. However, even in the midst of that struggle, we don't have as many broken homes, right? Right this moment, there are people who are contemplating what kind of food they're going to eat and how they're going to feed their families. How are you going to pay for school? You don't have government programs that pay for school and do other things for you. We don't have welfare, and yet a lot more families are intact. And so I asked myself, why is that? Is it the struggle that breaks up families, or is there something deeper? And for me, I am not in the position to judge anybody or judge an entire culture, but I understand the culture I was raised in. And in that culture, moms stay with dads, dads stay with moms. And yes, it's not all hunky-dory, but most people grow up in a two-parent household. And that, I believe, sets up a standard where a lot of us, within a year, I saw this stat many years ago, and it always stuck with me. It says within a year of an African or any other type of Black person immigrating to America, usually within a year, they are on par economically with their white counterparts within a year. And so the question then becomes, what exactly is the difference? Is my Blackness any different from other people? What is the difference? And I don't know the answer to that because I'm not in the community. However, I understand kind of where I came from and the values that we have. I remember, I'll say one little thing. I remember in my home country, there was a song when I was growing up as a teenager. There was a song that was released, and the song had some innuendo in it, and there was a parliamentary hearing on the song. That's kind of how serious they took it. Like they were like, "What is this song promoting? Is it helping our kids?" And there was a hearing. At the time, we laughed and we're like, "We have more important things to do than legislate on a song." But that kind of gives you a sense of the value system and how people look at this kind of debauchery in terms of our music and our, our other cultural tenets. And there was this idea that we need to protect our community from these foreign, ideas that end up breaking up our families and so on. So that's the perspective I come from, and hopefully, people adopt cultures that actually drive them forward and doesn't keep them kind of stuck economically or socially.
You mind telling us what country you're from? As people in the chat want to know.
I'm originally from Ghana.
Okay.
I do have a question for you.
On my bucket list. Go ahead, King J.
Well, I guess I can address this to everybody. So do you guys believe in psychological trauma from past events and years could be inherited by multiple different generations?
No.
Yes.
You don't think that's real?
It's definitely real.
You don't think your past controls where your future goes?
You talking about from like my great granddad?
Yeah, all that stuff. All that stuff. I think that also plays a key in why we are where we're at too, as a community. Some of us break out of it, but I think that plays a huge part in it too.
Are you talking about like their emotional well-being, emotional status, or whatever? Or are you talking about the thing?
All of it, emotionally, economically, everything. That circumference, family, all of it.
I believe the things that not emotionally. I don't believe like I heard Taraji P. Henson talking about like when we were slaves back in the olden days, when we laughed, we ran off the field, and that's why we black people laugh now. I don't run while I laugh. I don't believe like the emotional things that plays a factor unless my well, actually, maybe I may change my mind because my great grandparents were Republicans. They were conservatives. They were biblical people. So I guess I don't know. I would say no, but I don't know. I'm on the fence about it. I'll have to look into it more.
My response to that is, once again, I use my background as an immigrant. And the thing I say to myself is everybody talks about, the plight of American Blacks and people who are brought here against their will. And I understand that plight very well. I think a lot of times people don't talk about the people who are left behind and the fact that, they also were separated from their families. They also their families were forcibly taken from them. And so then the question becomes, how have those people who are left behind processed that trauma, and have they passed on that trauma to the next generation? And what I would say is this: growing up, nobody ever told me that I was a victim. And I grew up actually in a country at the time that was under a dictatorship. But nobody ever told me I was a victim. Nobody ever told me there was something that I couldn't do. And when I thought about coming to America, there was never once that I thought that my race would affect me in any way in order to stop me from what my goals were. And so, yes, I believe, and I actually agree with you, that trauma can be passed on, but it is not biological. It is sociological in the sense that you can train the next generation to adopt your struggles, right? And for me, the way I've looked at it is sometimes you are so in the struggle that the struggle becomes your identity. And when the struggle becomes your identity, getting away from the struggle seems like you're betraying who you are. And so you hear of people who say, when you make it, you leave the hood, right? People see that as you are betraying your identity by succeeding, because the struggle is now part of your identity. So how, people are called sellouts all the time. I hear that on social media. because they have adopted something different. They've adopted a different mindset. And I look at that and I say, I came to America for opportunity, and I'm not going to listen to the whisperings of other people telling me that there's something I can't do because of the color of my skin. And I think a lot of people who are immigrants are not burdened by the sociological conditioning that some people do to their kids. And because of that, you end up in a place where we don't have, I would say this in as sensitive of a way as possible, is we don't have the ideological shackles. We don't have it. And so we just go into the world and we do without any ideological shackles.
My next, and I'm not trying to go off on a tangent, guys.
No, hold
We're
that.
going to get to the main topic.
Yeah, hold that, because I want to say something real important to answer your question. It's seen every day that it's passed down. Most kids, by the time they 12 or 13 in America, black kids are shown roots in school. And I remember I was shown roots in 7th grade, and I start flipping tables just to be mad to see that there was these white people putting us in shackles and boats and bringing us over here. And it's shown every day that people who want reparations and things like that, or go against other white people that never owned a slave in their life, there's nobody living now that was a part of that, but it's still here. We still talk about it. It's part of the culture. It's protest for it all the time, every day. That's exactly what's going on. People who lead with racism, to me, that's trauma from 300-400 years ago. I just had an argument with a friend today over that, because they get mad because I don't lead with racism. I know it exists. I know it's there, but it's not the highlight of my day. It doesn't affect me. I'm affected more by child support and losing my kids than I am any racism. I got pulled over a week ago, and the cop was just like, "Don't do it again. Welcome to new cities. I just moved and where I'm at." And it was cool. So yes, we as black people, that is pretty much what's holding us down, is the trauma from slavery. It's passed down every generation. Every time you show your kids something, that's what happened. I taught my daughter about slavery before the school system, because the school system teaches it in a victim way. So I had to teach her in an empowerment way before she seen it in school. And I think a lot of us should do that.
Oh,
Go ahead.
For me, yeah, I would agree. Yeah, I think it's a culture thing that we tend to do. Because I would say I'm very different than, because I would say I'm very different than most. I was raised differently than a lot of black people my age. But yeah, I would say it's a culture thing. I thought he was framing it to be like your ancestors' brain, like a biological thing that passed down through us.
King J, what you were going to say, then let's get to the main topic.
Yeah, I'm gonna make it this quick and concise. I think there's a lot of work to do in the black community so far as that, but I think there's a lot of external factors that play a heavy role in while our community is so heavily influenced the way it is. And I definitely understand what Alma was saying, but when you take a look at the African American in America and the struggles that we have endured, not only was it slavery, you had to deal with Reconstruction and post-Reconstruction, and then Jim Crow. Jim Crow was less than 50 years ago. My grandma was one of the first Black African Americans to walk through Maury High School doors. So I think that is in itself, when we talk about letting some people letting a group of people go and then subjecting them to trauma after trauma after trauma. Of course, those group of people are not going to turn out right. Yeah, there are external factors where we can shield our family and teach the kids the right way, but I think we as a community have a lot of resources and stuff that we need to pour in as a group to fix the problem.
For sure. Vulgar.
All right, let me go to the main event. Wish we had more time, because I want to answer Kamal's question, but we're getting low on time. All right, here we go. Main event.
June 18th, 2025, we are hearing that Iran has responded to Trump's final warning. We're hearing that Iran has responded back and said Iran will never surrender to the United States, which is leaving us with the final option that it looks like the United States is going to be striking Iran. We will be going into what they are saying is all-out war. This coming out today, like I said, June 18th, 2025. Let's take a look at the latest headlines so that way you can see it for yourself. Iran's leader has rejected a call to surrender, saying the U.S. intervention would cause irreparable damage. Now, this coming as yesterday, I shared with you that Donald Trump had come out and said Iran needs unconditional surrender. There are no other options. This is not a war. This is Iran either being destroyed or surrendering, and they said they will not surrender. Here's another article coming out today. Trump says no decision yet on U.S. joining Israel's attack on Iran after Iran warns that it would risk all-out war if the United States were to attack Iran. And here you can see Trump says nobody knows what I'm going to do as Iran warns the United States not to strike. But I think that's more of a begging rather than a warning. Let me know your thoughts. But what we're hearing is right now Iran is absolutely being destroyed and decimated, and the United States has not yet entered in, but they're saying that if they do, there will be bunker busters. They have the ability to destroy their nuclear facilities underground, and also the supreme leader, they said they're ready to wipe him out at a moment's notice. They have just spared him. So right now they are issuing out these threats, these warnings. Trump is saying, hey, I'm trying to give you an opportunity here not to be totally wiped out and eliminated. And we are hearing that today, June 18th, 2025, the response from Iran is, we will never surrender to you. So, man, let me know your thoughts in the comments. And we're hearing that behind the scenes, there are some Iranian officials that are begging the United States to come back to the negotiating table to see if they can come to some sort of agreement for peace. And Donald Trump is saying it's a little too late for that. We've given you a chance. We've had 5 weeks worth of meetings. We try to get a 6th one. We know you're stalling for time, and now the time is up. Let me know your thoughts in the comments.
All right, so either Gray or King J.
King J,
If y'all,
oh,
y'all
bad.
got if y'all got like a clearance where y'all could take me to see what a 30,000-pound bunker buster look like, please do. I'm not military, but I love to study like the weaponry and the science of physics and stuff like that. But I want to see one. Sorry, y'all go ahead.
King J, you can go.
This is just, to me, I think it's absolutely crazy that we're even having these conversations, especially when we talked about a president saying he was going to be a peacetime president, but we're not going to get into that whole topic. I mean, at the end of the day, with me being a service member, I do feel like if we do get put in the shoes, that if we do end up putting those roles, then I mean, at the end of the day, I'm gonna pick my country over yours, unfortunately. But I don't think we should be over there in the first place so far as fighting Israel's wars. Netanyahu been saying for 40 years, 60 plus years that these people that had nuclear bombs, and they don't. They don't have them. There's no proof of them having them. He's been saying this for 40 years. They were supposed to have them in 2003 from his calculations. And now he did this preemptive strike on these folks, and now you're begging for our soldiers, for our service members, for us to go over there and fight your battle that you started. I don't agree with it.
Alma.
So my perspective is, I mean, we are living in dangerous times, I would say. I don't have a lot of experience in foreign policy. However, just by applying common sense, I ask myself, you know, what is the best interest of our country? What is the best interest of America? And when I think about Israel and what they had to do, the bottom line is very simple for them. Right, the bottom line is, yes, they've been saying, you know, death to Israel and death to America for decades. I have been here for 2 decades, and they've been saying death to Israel and death to America. And they've been arming their proxies against Israel the entire time I've been here, right? And they've been doing that over and over and over again. The reason why we don't see that Iran is literally, has been fighting Israel for all these years is because they have the Iron Dome. And so they don't usually get a lot of casualties. And so we assume that because we don't hear of reports of a lot of casualties in Israel, that means that, you know, they're not under constant threat. is just because they're able to shoot down the rockets before they get to them and destroy them. And so that's, I think, a portion that people are not considering. They have been at war the entire time. Iran has been funding Hezbollah, has been funding, the Houthis, has been funding, according to intelligence experts, has been funding, Hamas. So they have been fighting Israel all this time. So when you talk about preemptive strike, Israel is responding to an ongoing attack that has been happening. The only reason we don't see them under attack is because of Iron Dome. And so we assume that they're not. But the bottom line is, if you wake up tomorrow and Iran has nuclear weapons, everything changes. The way I look at it is kind of like illegal immigration. The time to stop illegal immigration is at the border. Once they get in, it becomes incredibly painful and difficult to deal with it, right? And that's the same thing here. If they get it, it will become incredibly difficult. Then they can hold everybody hostage. Think about what North Korea was doing to us before Trump's first term. Every few years, we would have threats by North Korea, and we would have to mobilize, and then we have to, try to get them. Like they would blackmail us consistently. And when the people are chanting death to your children and death, and they're raising their army and they're arming other proxies to attack you, the time to take action is not when they get the weapon. At some point, you have to say, I'm not willing to risk it anymore, and I'm going to go and take out those systems before they ever get to us. And so I understand it's a complicated issue, but one of the things that is very interesting is also hearing the response from actual Iranians, both outside of Iran and inside of Iran. They are seeing this as a fight for liberation for them, right? And so what is their perspective about it? What are they going to do? At the end of the day, I don't want our soldiers dying for Iran or for Israel. I don't want that. I don't want that at all. However, from the perspective of Israel, October 6th was peaceful, and then, 1,200 of them were gone in one day. And so are they willing to risk waking up tomorrow and then the weapons are there? I don't know. I wouldn't risk it.
Jamie?
So yeah, I agree with Alma basically on this. I believe we should not take the risk. Iran is a very dangerous place, and I believe that if they do have these nuclear weapons, they will come for America as they scream death to America and Israel. I think they will come for Western civilization. That's what they've always wanted to do, and I've always agreed with, even with Obama, and when they were doing all that stuff in 2000, in the early 2000, well, not who wasn't president during that time, but I agree with them when I agree with a lot of different politicians when they say we cannot allow Iran to get these bombs because they're going to attack us. So I believe we should not be taking risk of them not having the bombs versus having the bombs. I believe we should make sure they do not have the bombs because they will attack us if they do have these bombs. I do think Trump is a peacemaker, by the way. King J, he's trying to pursue peace, and if he did not want to pursue, I believe he would have 100% already attacked Iran.
It's actually like a compilation video of Netanyahu saying that they're going to have a nuclear bomb in 2 weeks, like for like 10 years or something crazy.
It goes all the way back to like 1970 something.
Yeah, you saw it?
60 years.
I was looking for it, but I couldn't find it. I wanted to play it, but yeah, like I think it's crazy. I know Trump is saying that he might strike. So it's definitely wild. It seems like we're talking about World War III all the time these days. But
I don't think Trump has actually said he might strike. I think all he has said is news reports are saying he is considering options, but he himself has said, you don't know what I'm going to do. I haven't made a decision, and as Trump is, he never commits to any particular narrative until, it is done, right? And so he's just saying nothing is off the table. I don't know what's going to happen. I haven't made a decision. And so other people are the ones kind of, making those claims and saying we're preparing. They can see the positioning of, different armaments and, different things being moved into place. But I think at the end of the day, he has given them a very clear path to peace, which is renounce your nuclear ambitions, and this will be over. Like, renounce it. You have oil, you have enough energy to power your country. You have, and so this pursuit is causing, just think about it. If your neighbor, you saw that your neighbor was, preparing guns, and those guns were trained towards your yard, at what point do you say, hey, we got to talk about this? We got to talk.
From that perspective, though, you got to think about it from the Iranian side. They just watched us go into another country a couple years ago, trample their government, destabilize the whole entire Middle East, and the name of having weapons of mass destruction, which when we got in there, we found out they did not have them. Went in there and unalived thousands of their peoples, which created a whole lot of insurgencies. And we said we were going to go back in there, reconstruct it. Never happened. They're still over there. Some of them folks still don't have water. So you have to think about it. And then on top of that, Israel, we know Israel has nuclear bombs. We know they have them. We know they have them. So from their perspective, now you're telling me I can't have them, but my neighbor has them. I just watched you unalive all these Palestinians. Now you're attacking me. I can't have no M-bombs and I'm the threat. From their perspective, really, do who looks like the threat? If we look at history,
from their perspective, though, you have to consider that they are arming insurgents, and they've been doing that for how long? Like, they are. Do we dispute that they are arming and funding?
I understand what you're saying, but my question is, why are they doing it? You have to look at the cause of what they're doing. If we talk about the origins of Israel, is the Jewish folks, and I have nothing against Jewish people, they technically don't belong there. The Palestinians let them into their country and they expanded their borders, and you can actually pull up a map, and like every 10 years, Israel border grows until they push them into the Gaza Strip. So we have literally watched these people come into a country, take over the country, and then start unaliving the people that you brought into the country. How do you think they feel as Muslims, as Arabics, when they're watching this happen? You have to think about it from other people's perspectives. I let you in. That's like me letting you in your house, and I get to a point where I'm controlling everything in your house, and the only spot you got is the kitchen. How would you feel?
So I get where you're coming from. However, we have to also understand and have fidelity towards history. And the history is that the Jewish people have been there for 3,000 years. So this is not a disputed history. Okay, that portion of land. And we always talk about the UN and how the UN, America is not following the UN. The state of Israel was established by the UN, right? By the United Nations coming together. It was a British mandate of Palestine, and they established that state. And then they were attacked. We know that. And what happens when you attack somebody and you lose? You lose land. It happens all the time. It happens all the time. How did America gain some of the lands that we have today? We fought, we conquered, and we gained the land. It's happened all throughout history. So you can't go back, you can't go back 100 years or 50 years and say, this land that we lost, belongs to us again. If you are unable to fight to defend that land, that is how the world worked. And so I understand the concern, but at the end of the day, think about what the neighbors are also doing. What is Egypt doing? What is Jordan doing? If Israel,
the Arabics are Arabics, but Saudi Arabia already said that Saudi Arabia has already come out, and I will give y'all to this point, and this is why everything is so destabilizing over there. If they do get an M-bomb, that they're going to create one. So I think it's a whole lot of stuff going on with that when we actually take a look at what's going on in the Middle East. But what I'm saying is, from a minority perspective, watching the cleansing, and I'm not going to use the other word, I'm just going to say cleansing that's going over there. I think there needs to be somebody with big boy pants that needs to be able to sit down at this table and fix the problem. The whole problem in the Middle East is what's going on in the Gaza Strip. That's why they're using these proxies. That's why they're using the proxies. They're worried about America doing the same thing it did to Afghanistan to them. How do we create trust?
Yeah, I'm gonna say I'm gonna pretty much wrap up what y'all saying. Yo, when you think about it, Earth, this planet we don't know no other life anywhere else. We're just all on this Earth. When you really think about it deeply, there's really no right or wrong. There's only who wins. So to say Iran is right or Israel is right or America is right, nobody's really right. The only person that's going to be right is the person that wins. Australia tomorrow could come up with the next biggest bomb and drop it on Iran and say, hey, I'm running the world now. And we would either have to get on their plan because they got the biggest military or whatever and listen, or we get destroyed. That's all this really is. At the end of the day, it's whoever wins. So we can sit here and say right or wrong, but if Iran is going to try to take over America, it's probably highly likely not to happen. But that's really what all this is. And to sit and say that somebody could sit down and really settle the Middle East, my own opinion is that nobody outside the Middle East can settle the Middle East. The only way you're going to do that is just to wipe it out. But I think they all needed to fight each other.
Okay. Lord, Alma, thank you for coming. Give us your final thoughts and what did you think of the man cave?
Great experience. Thank you for inviting me. And for those of you who this is the first time you're coming in contact with me, go follow me on Instagram, Willful Positivity, and on TikTok, as also Willful Positivity. And for those of you in Tampa, I will be in Tampa as well. So thank you for inviting me. I had a good time, and I hope to talk to you again soon.
For sure. Jamion, thank you for coming. What's your final thoughts? What did you think of the man cave?
I like the man cave. I hope I'm invited again. It's very interesting. I would like to come again, and yeah, that's just it. I believe Christ is king, and I believe everyone should give it after Christ, and I believe baby lives matter, and yeah, that's really it. And if you want to follow me, my name on TikTok is Jamion, JAMION.McAllister, MCALLISTER, or you can just follow me on my other account, Pro Life Jamion. But yeah, that's it. I love the man cave, and not love, but I like the man cave, and I would like to come back again.
For sure. King J, your final thoughts?
Appreciate y'all having me up. As always, I look forward to doing it again. All my left-leaning Democrats come and follow me at Red is the New Orange on TikTok so we can have some good discussions. I have panels with Skeptic Monday through Wednesday, and pretty much Saturday and Sunday is my full day on TikTok. Appreciate y'all having me up.
King J just joined us. He actually is a mod with Skeptic, who is in our group as well. She does the new party, and the new party will be on tomorrow. They'll be talking about the Tucker Carlson interview with Ted Cruz when they're talking about Iran. So we're going to do a history of Iran because Ted Cruz didn't know anything about Iran. So that'll be tomorrow. We go live every Monday through Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern. And then the man cave is Monday and Wednesday, and the new party is on Tuesday and Thursday. So please keep rocking with us. And man cave. Volger, what's your final thoughts?
All right, I'll hit on the K Michelle thing first, and then I'll go into that. Basically, for my men, realize y'all are men. Like I said, there's only 20% of us, if that can step up, but we all need to step up, be family men, get out these streets, try to set the example, try to bring this Black community back together. I mean, just America. Like, it's not just a Black thing. This fathers not being in the household is a problem across the board, and it's starting to affect other races. So as Americans, we need to focus on the family and doing what's right, getting away from dopamine and doing whatever the hell you want to do. You need to do what benefits you. And as far as this conflict, I don't know if there's anything we can do to stop it, start it, or whatever. But my advice to y'all is the stock market, and a lot of companies do well during war. So what I advise y'all to do is go research companies y'all need to be putting your money in. Man cave.
For sure. You guys have a good night. I'm gonna play the outro.